Have you ever stopped to wonder if there are hidden, life-threatening dangers lurking in your daily routine? What if I told you that some of these threats could become fatal after you turn 70? As we age, our bodies undergo subtle, yet significant changes that make us more vulnerable to specific health risks, many of which don't come with obvious warning signs. Most of us think sudden death is an unpredictable, random event, but the truth is much darker. There are specific triggers, unseen factors, that dramatically increase the chances of life-threatening emergencies. The most terrifying part? Many of these triggers are completely ignored or dismissed until it's too late. In this eye-opening video, we're uncovering 5 silent killers that could catch anyone off guard after 70. These aren't just health concerns. They're silent assassins that strike when we least expect them. From overlooked heart conditions to harmless-seeming everyday habits, these triggers have the potential to drastically alter the course of your life if left unchecked. But there's good news. Once you're aware, you can protect yourself. By understanding these 5 deadly triggers, you could be taking the most critical steps to live a long, healthy life well into your golden years without facing an avoidable health crisis. Stick with me until the end, because knowing these hidden dangers could mean the difference between living in peace or experiencing a sudden, tragic loss of health. Let's dive in. Trigger number 1. Silent heart attacks. A heart attack is often thought of as an event that happens with sudden, crushing chest pain. But what if I told you that many heart attacks happen silently, without any dramatic signs at all? It's true, and they're far more common than we realize. Imagine someone like Richard, a 74-year-old man who enjoys his daily walks and an occasional round of golf. One morning, Richard felt unusually tired. He was slightly short of breath, and there was a mild discomfort in his upper back. He assumed it was just due to poor sleep and thought little of it. Little did he know, Richard had just suffered a silent heart attack. Unlike the dramatic chest pain scenario you see in movies, silent heart attacks creep in quietly. They're often mistaken for something as benign as indigestion or fatigue. What Richard didn't realize was that, despite feeling relatively okay, his heart had suffered significant damage. Weeks later, that minor discomfort would leave him at a much higher risk of a fatal cardiac arrest. Silent heart attacks happen when blood flow to the heart is blocked, yet there are no obvious symptoms. Instead of sharp pain, you might feel discomfort in your jaw, neck, or upper stomach. You could also feel mild dizziness, unusual tiredness, or nausea. Many people brush these off as simple ailments, like heartburn or muscle strain. But these could actually be signs that your heart is deprived of oxygen. And the worst part? The damage can accumulate over time. The real danger strikes when a second heart attack occurs. If your heart has already been weakened, your chances of surviving the second attack dramatically drop. That's why awareness is critical. What can you do? If you notice any unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, or discomfort in your upper body that feels out of place, don't dismiss it. Schedule a checkup. A simple EKG test or blood test can identify silent damage and help prevent future harm. Awareness could literally save your life. Trigger number 2. Postural hypotension and falls. You've probably heard of dizziness from standing up too quickly. But did you know that for seniors, it can be a silent killer? A condition known as postural hypotension can cause sudden drops in blood pressure when you stand, leading to dizziness, fainting, and tragically, life-threatening falls. Take George, a 78-year-old man who enjoys his morning coffee at the local diner. One afternoon, after getting up too quickly, he felt the room spin. As he reached out for support, he lost his balance and collapsed. He broke his hip, and while he thought he would recover quickly, complications set in. Weeks later, he found himself battling infections in the hospital. A simple dizzy spell had spiraled into a life-threatening ordeal. Falls are one of the biggest health risks for seniors, not only because of the immediate danger of injury, but because they can set off a cascade of health problems. Hip fractures often lead to prolonged immobility, which weakens the body, increases the risk of blood clots, and makes infections more likely. But why does postural hypotension happen more frequently as we age? Our bodies don't regulate blood pressure as quickly as they used to, especially when moving from sitting or lying to standing. Medications and dehydration can exacerbate the condition. If you've ever felt dizzy when standing up, it's crucial not to ignore it. Simple lifestyle changes, like standing up slowly, staying hydrated, and being mindful of your medications, can reduce your risk. The most important thing, however, is awareness. Understanding the signs and taking precautions can be the difference between a fall that changes your life and one that you avoid altogether. Trigger number 3, hidden blood clots, deep vein thrombosis. Blood clots aren't just a risk after surgery or a long hospital stay. In fact, clots can develop quietly in your legs, often without any warning signs. And when they break loose, they can travel to the lungs, leading to sudden death from a pulmonary embolism. Harold, a 76-year-old man who loves to spend hours reading on his porch, didn't realize he was at risk. He often sat for long periods, sometimes in a recliner for hours, but he didn't consider himself inactive. One day, after sitting for a while, he noticed some mild swelling in his calf. He dismissed it, thinking it was just a sign of sitting too long. But days later, Harold began feeling short of breath, assuming it was just a cold. The truth? The swelling in his calf was a blood clot, and when it dislodged and traveled to his lungs, it caused a sudden collapse. The scariest part about deep vein thrombosis, DVT, is that it develops so quietly. Symptoms like mild swelling, tenderness, or cramps in the calf seem harmless. But if the clot dislodges and travels to the lungs, it can kill within minutes. Older adults, particularly those with conditions like diabetes or high blood pressure, are at a higher risk. What can you do to prevent this? Keep moving. If you sit for long periods, make sure to stand up, stretch, and keep your blood flowing. Drink plenty of water, wear compression socks if necessary, and never ignore swelling or tenderness in your legs. By being proactive, you can protect yourself from this silent killer. Trigger number 4. Undetected infections leading to sepsis. Infections in older adults can escalate quickly into something far more dangerous. Sepsis, which is a life-threatening condition triggered by the body's extreme reaction to infection. What's particularly insidious is that the early signs often appear mild, leading many to ignore them until it's too late. Walter, an 81-year-old who rarely visits the doctor, noticed a slight burning sensation while urinating one afternoon. He assumed it was just part of aging, so he drank more water, thinking it would pass. But over the next few days, Walter started feeling fatigued, confused, and strangely cold, despite it being warm outside. By the time his family insisted he go to the hospital, his infection had already spread into his bloodstream. Within hours, Walter's organs began to shut down. Sepsis can start from something as seemingly minor as a urinary tract infection, UTI, or even a small skin wound. But for seniors, the immune system's weakened state makes it harder to fight off infections. And once sepsis takes hold, it can lead to rapid organ failure. If you're someone you love experiences symptoms like fatigue, fever, confusion, or weakness, it's crucial to act fast. Sepsis doesn't wait for the body to heal. It can overwhelm you quickly. Seek medical help if any symptoms don't improve, no matter how minor they seem. Trigger number 5. Medication mismanagement. One of the most underestimated dangers after 70 isn't a disease. It's something that happens in homes every day. Medication mismanagement. Taking the wrong dose, skipping pills, or mixing medications without realizing the risks can lead to life-threatening reactions, triggering cardiac events, strokes, or fatal internal bleeding. Helen, 82 years old, had been on blood pressure medication for years. One evening, struggling with back pain, she took an over-the-counter pain reliever without thinking twice. The next morning, she felt dizzy and weak, but assumed it was nothing serious. By the afternoon, Helen collapsed. What she didn't know was that the pain reliever had interacted with her blood thinner, causing internal bleeding. As we age, our bodies process medications differently, making it easier for drugs to build up to dangerous levels. A simple misstep in medication, like mixing the wrong pills, can cause severe damage. What can you do? Always double-check your medications, both prescription and over-the-counter. Be aware of potential interactions and ensure you understand how to take them properly. Keeping track of your medications can prevent accidents that could be devastating. As we age, our bodies become more susceptible to these silent killers. But with knowledge and proactive measures, we can avoid these dangers. Awareness of these 5 triggers, silent heart attacks, postural hypotension, blood clots, infections, and medication mismanagement, could save lives. Don't wait for a wake-up call. Take action now. Stay vigilant and ensure your loved ones do the same. Your health is your wealth. Protect it.